Joining us right now is momentarily on the line from Montreal Live, and he joins us right now, Kyle Bekker of the Montreal Impact. Kyle, welcome again, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure's mine, Kyle. We talked to you at the beginning of the year. Were you off to Dallas and then a mid-season exchange? You headed off to Montreal. How have you settled in with Montreal, the new coach, Piello, Enzo Concino, who's been there since the start? What have they wanted from you when you arrived, and how have you felt since coming over there?
I think it's been a little bit of a slow process. Obviously, a little difficult with the coaching change and not seeing much playing time before that. The most recent trip with the national team. So obviously, I had to be a little patient with that. But since Marl's been in, it's been obviously I've had a couple chances, and I think it's been positive so far. It's been good. Obviously, it's been a club that in the past have talked about bringing me there. So it's nice to be there, and obviously in a place where you're wanted. So it's obviously very good on my side, and just been happy with the recent performances.
And you've settled in nicely. A great win last night. You got the minutes that you yourself really have been working hard to get out when you arrived in Montreal. A gutsy performance by your squad, a chippy affair with Chicago Fire. But there he is, the guy that's getting paid the big bucks, and he has showed up since he has arrived here. Didier Drogba. What a pleasure it must be to play with a world-class star like him, Kyle.
Yeah, obviously it's great. And again, another big performance against him. He's obviously picked his team like Chicago, and he's going to just be banging in all the goals against them so far. He's got like 4 in 2 games. So that's nice. Obviously, it's good for young players to be playing with a guy like Didier, who's played in every single atmosphere you can play with. So obviously, we can learn a lot from him, and I think those are the games like last night that are going to be the difference coming down to making the playoffs this year.
Kyle, it's got to be great to play with a veteran side by side, Nigel de Jong, a guy that had his time in Vancouver and ended up here in Montreal now, but it's got to be good to work side by side with Nigel. He's a veteran. He knows the ins and outs on and off the field. It's got to be great to pick his mind during training and understand what he wants in regards to service and how he wants to play side by side with you. Talk about that good partnership you've had with Nigel.
Yeah, it's good. Again, he's one of the more experienced players we have on the team, but we definitely have a bunch of those. We have a very good team on paper, and a team with a lot of experience, and I think now, as you can see, we've sort of figured it out, and we're going on some sort of on a good run right now, and everyone's happy, and the atmosphere in the locker room is very well, and you can tell it's transitioning over to the field, and we're getting these 3 points, and players like that, like Nigel and Marco and Didier, and again, it was nice to see Patrice come in the game last night and had a positive effect right away. So with guys like that, I think they're going to be big difference makers for our team in finishing the season.
Now, Kyle, I know you weren't there for that unbelievable run to the Champions League final for the Montreal Impact and that historic night in Montreal, over 50,000 plus. I think there was even more than that night. But there was an energy, there was a vibe with that team getting to the final. They almost pulled it off. They went into Mexico and got a wonderful result there, but unfortunately didn't get it at home. And I've noticed in the last 4 or 5 games the same vibe, the same energy, the same chip on their shoulder from this squad, that they want to prove a lot of people wrong. I was called a crazy when I said this, but when Montreal started going on this run, I said, watch out. Montreal, and if Toronto takes care of their business on the back end, could end up on a collision course in the playoffs or possibly even in the Eastern Conference final. What has been the difference? Has it been, unfortunately, head coach Frank Klopas getting fired? Is it been guys having meetings and hashing things out? What has been the difference since you have arrived that really now has been working on all cylinders for this team?
No, I think it's a team that's kind of always had it there. They've just been missing 1 or 2 things, and whether it's been a striker to get the goals, or if everyone kind of needs to get on the same page. And I think whatever we've done, we've sort of figured it out in the last few weeks, and it's been working. I think we've the group sort of come together and realized it's still in our hands, and there's a lot of games left to play, but we're in a very good position. Now we don't really have to dig ourselves out of a hole or anything like that. We just kind of got to keep playing and get those results and take it game by game. And as of now, it's sort of what we've been doing, and it's been working well. And we just got to keep doing that and see out the season, and then get into the playoffs and see what we can make happen. I mean, the city, it's a big sports city. You can see the fans are behind us, and they want us to do well. And that Champions League run was unbelievable. I mean, you can see the support. So we just need to, if we can get into the playoffs, then hopefully we'll have that 12th man on the field.
And I was going to talk to you about the fans and the support in Montreal, Kyle. No disrespect to Dallas, but when you arrived in Montreal, I'm sure you noticed right away it's a European atmosphere before the game, during the game, and after. These fans care. They're knowledgeable. They're passionate. They travel to a lot of games, some of their fans. And you could sense yourself, I'm pretty sure already, Kyle, the responsibility of being a professional athlete in the city of Montreal. They don't expect anything less except 100% and wins each and every time out. Agreed?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're very passionate, and I mean, I think they have every right to be. They obviously want the team to do well, and if we can give our best on the field, they're going to respect that each week. So it's definitely a nice crowd to play for.
Let's talk about some of your former teammates right now that are really doing some great things across North America. You look at Kyle Lauren, who has been lighting it up since he entered in this rookie season of his with Orlando City and Kaká. The guy has been tremendous since he has arrived there. Then you look at Emery Welshman. He's opened up a lot of eyes with Real Salt Lake's second team there, the Monarchs. On and on and on. You see other guys like Giuliano Frano. A lot of guys have come out of that program that you came out of Sigma. And it's great to see the fruits of the labor, not only of yours, but teammates of yours back then in those long, long winter nights and hot summer days in Southern Ontario have paid off.
Yeah, Kyle's doing very well this season. Obviously, it's nice to see, but it doesn't really come as a surprise to me that he's doing well and scoring goals. I mean, he's a big boy up front. He can finish, and he's done very well so far. So obviously, I'm very proud of him. I'm happy to see that. And again, those other guys, Emery, I'm very glad that he's back on his feet, doing well in Real Salt Lake, and I think it's going to be a good place for him. He can start scoring again. It's kind of a system that fits him, and Giuliano getting called into the U23, obviously that's very positive as well. The guy's a rock in the midfield, so it's nice to see he's getting some credit for what he's doing over in Seattle. So it's very good.
Let's talk about this Montreal squad of yours. As we said, they're right now on fire and they're really on a mission. You can see the leadership of Drogba and Chiman have really helped the youngsters like you and some of the others out. How is it on the road with this squad? Is there a lot of guys that gather together for dinner and hang out together? Is it more of veterans and rookies, or is everyone made to feel as if it's a family, Kyle?
No, I think it's definitely a family, and I think that's something that is being preached to the coaching staff, that if we're going to do this, the only way we're going to do it is together. So we've kind of come together as a family, and everyone's sort of sticking together, and we realize that if we're together as one through this, then we're going to make something good happen.
Who's the jokester on the team on the road or on home field? Who's the guy that likes to crack a couple jokes during the locker room?
I think we definitely have a few of them, but definitely Simon just does not stop.
And he's a fierce competitor. That guy is a bulldog on the field, and he gives it each and every time he comes out there. The guy's been a wonderful addition to this Montreal squad. Let's move ahead a little bit and talk about, obviously, Kyle, World Cup qualifying, big games coming up for Canada, Honduras in Vancouver, and then there's Montreal, El Salvador. You had an opportunity to play in that last phase. Talk about what head coach Benito Floro, Rafael Carvajal, and the staff have explained to you, what they want from you looking forward if they have to pick up that phone again and say, Kyle, we want you. What do they want to see from you in these next coming weeks before they make their selection for the roster?
Oh, just with every chance I get to play with Montreal, is just be confident in the things I'm good at, and take chances and don't really hold anything back. I think that was the problem that I had in Toronto. I was playing obviously in a much deeper role, and something that has never really been asked of me, and sort of just was like a shell of myself, and I was kind of hiding. And now it's about being more confident and taking the chances that I have, and being more productive. And obviously, since being in Montreal, it's definitely been a lot better. I'm feeling a lot more like myself, so it's nice just trying to look to build on that each game I can.
You know, Kyle, you could sense that squad is very united. There's a lot of youngsters like Kyle, Tisho Akindale, Russell, on and on. But there's also a good mix of veterans, leaders, that this time around they won't make the youngsters forget what happened in the last qualifying. We're talking about Jules. The guy gives you everything he's got. Atiba Hutchinson, world-class player in my mind. And these are the guys that really are wanting to take this team to the Hex. What have the guys told you, the veterans, that they expect from the young guys that are coming in there, what to expect when you're going in to these CONCACAF nations like Mexico, Honduras, and El Salvador?
Oh, I mean, going into places like that is never easy to get points. I mean, it's hectic, and it's a very tough place to go and even just get a single point. But with guys like this who've played in it and know what to expect, they can sort of help you a little bit in getting prepared. Obviously, it's kind of have to just go through it to get used to it. And I don't even know if you ever get used to it. It's something else. But having those guys back, I mean, like the game against Belize, having Jules, Will, and Atiba in there. Unfortunately, Jules got hurt in the first game, but the experience in the middle definitely it gets us. We play more confident, and you can see it. These guys, they lift everyone's game just playing around them. So it's great to have those guys back in the squad.
Kyle, just before we let you go, it's got to be great to be playing up against guys like Pirlo in New York, Kaká in Orlando, Jovinko here in Toronto, Lampard, Gerrard. I mean, we can go on and on. Sometimes you stop and you say to yourself, wow, here I am, a young guy from Southern Ontario, and I'm going up against some of these big guys, because it's got to be an unbelievable feeling to go up against some world-class players in MLS this year.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, it's nice to be on the same field as these guys, but I mean, the young guys in this league definitely have something to prove, and I think there's a lot of guys who don't get enough credit. I mean, these guys obviously have big names, and they've done it, and they've proved it over their career, but I think there's a lot of up-and-coming kids who have something to prove and are trying to make a name for themselves as well. So hopefully the league obviously just doesn't put such an emphasis on those players, and can see some of the young guys who are doing good stuff in the league.
As we let you go, talk to some of those young men that are in grade 12, like my son in his last year of high school, that have aspirations to go to NCAA, where you had a wonderful career, a wonderful time there at Boston College, and you really made a name for yourself, and you're in MLS today. What things do they need to work on, not only on the field and in training, but also off the field? I think a lot of times these young men forget the responsibility that they have in front of them to get the grades they need to get into these schools, or else it doesn't matter how talented you are, Kyle. What do you want to say to these youngsters?
Yeah, I think you just have to go into something like college with an open mind, just because obviously a lot of guys, you want to get over to Europe and you want to go that route, but if it doesn't work, the college system has gotten much better, where it is another door to come into the MLS and become a professional soccer player, and it's just a matter of taking the opportunity that's in front of you and not looking back. Don't look down on it. Use it as a good thing, a place where you kind of go into definitely a professional environment where you're expected to win each week, and you're getting games 90 minutes, because obviously you can see the problem with the league is a lot of young guys come in and sign these homegrown, but you don't get minutes for 1 year, 2 years, and you can see their development definitely takes a hit. But guys who go to college and you're playing each week, you definitely have a chance to mature and become a better player, whether or not it's technically or physically or just being the guy that teams count on. So it's definitely a good thing.
Kyle, continued success with the Montreal Impact, and congratulations on overcoming a lot of obstacles. A lot of people still today here in this market count you out, but you keep rising to the occasion. So good luck with the Impact. Even better luck if Benito picks up the phone to call you for Canada, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Kyle Bekker of the Montreal Impact will take a